From the slowest downloads to the smoothest streams of cyberspace, welcome to the Kidawa Show. And here's your host, Arthur Kidawa.
Welcome to another episode of Late Night with me on the Kidawa Show. Today we have a special midway of the season episode for you, discussing the updates and future plans for Kidawa, as well as answering some questions. So it's just going to be me, myself, and well, Don's here.
All right.
So let's get started. Please check out the layout for the show coming up now. All right, here we find ourselves again. And Don, let me just say that you're the man. You the man, Don. You the man.
Faux show.
Even though everything is pretty much pre-recorded.
Lies. All lies.
Well, come on, Don. I even do my own makeup. All right, let's get started.
Jerk.
All right, so today we have a midway episode for you. This is what we're going to be discussing today. We got, let me see here, 5 main topics that we're going to be talking about, and they're going to be showing up right over here next to me. First, we're going to be talking about a quick thank you to the interviewees. Then we're going to be talking about the show, the Kidawa Show code, or code of honor, as I like to call it. And then we're going to be talking about Kidawa Show improvements and updates and changes we're planning on making. Then 3 show stages. So right now we got this stage set up, the main show, and there's 2 more show ideas I have in the works. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be really fun to talk about and explain. And then we have number 5, our questions and answers, our followers, our viewers. I don't know where they follow us. We're not going anywhere. We're staying right here. But our viewer asked questions. So those will be answered right here at the end of the show. And then a nice outro for you to enjoy. Okay. As I've mentioned, it's going to be just me today and Don, and the fake laughs and claps that come along. So I hope you do enjoy those as they show up. All right. First, I'd like to mention we have 2,000 subscribers. I was contemplating mentioning that on the show, but it's just a nice timestamp. Looking back on this episode many years from now, we can see where we were at and how we grew and so on and so forth. Hopefully, by next update, I can say that we have 4,000, that we've doubled. So let's hope for the best. So just a bit of an explanation on how the seasons will work. Each season is composed of 6 months, so a half year. So about 26 episodes, 1 for each week. The midway update episodes will also count as 1. So as we are today on the midway episode, let's continue to our thank yous and shout outs to the channels. This is going to be a quick shout out because I already gave our interviewees a shout out, a more thorough shout out on a vlog that I've done before. So if you are an interviewee, a past interviewee of the show, then please check out that vlog. It was, I believe, my last vlog of the last vacation for that. So I would like to thank Iconic the Jam for being the first one and playing along very well. Games Be Silly, Dunga Starlocks, Ibaraki Ben, Kiwi Bird, Hiroshi Katagiri, JG TV Vlogs, Candy Angel and their vlogs, Unwanted Artists, Sharp Tony or Shred Tony, Astrum, Scott Humphrey from LARPs the series, and the Kinsella Bunch, and soon to come. Can I say this? Alright, apparently I can say it. I was just looking at the door. JP Sears. So thank you all for joining in on the first season. And there's more to come with these people that I've listed that I will mention a little bit later in the show. So let's give a hand to them. And a woohoo. And what else? What other sounds we can add into this? All right. Yeah, I didn't want to hear that. Okay. Also in the list, I want to include a honorable mention to Mr. Patrick Sinclair for his advice and support on the show. So thank you for you as well. To you. Okay, continuing. We are on the second meal on our menu today. Just a sec. Thank you. All right. The show's code of conduct, or code of ethics, code of honor, as I like to call it. The code of honor that I follow on the show is 2 levels. Okay, so at the beginning of every show, before we actually start filming, I talk with the interviewees, answer any questions, and explain anything they need to know during our filming. So part of the deal is usually a shout out in return or a mentioning of the show or this channel, or even just this interview in return for the effort that we put in. That's a mutual agreement. It's almost unspoken, and most often it is. Also, every person that I interview on the show, I have at least an hour with. Whether it's recording or beyond that, I have at least an hour typically. And after that hour, I regard these people as my friends. Now, how I use YouTube for personal purposes is I don't do sub for sub, as I've mentioned, because I actually use this YouTube account to view videos that I like on YouTube and subscribe to. So if I'm subscribed to a channel, I watch it. So I'm subscribed to all the interviewees' channels as well as channels that I enjoy, other channels. And every day what I do is I click on that subscriptions button, and I check out the latest videos by the people that I follow. So what my sort of unspoken deal is, if you've had an interview with me, the minimum I will do, if you do not support the show, you just did the original deal, you gave us a shout out, and then you don't pay attention, I still stay subscribed to you. But what I also do is I watch your videos. If I truly genuinely enjoy them and continue to, I will comment, I will continue to be subscribed, and I'll like them. If not, then at least I leave that like. So that's my deal, is at least every time, if you don't hear from me, but you've had an interview with me, I've chatted with you, I support you, you can count that one of those likes are mine. If you indeed show the effort and you do continue to support the show and even show support to the other channels that are interviewed here, then I'll stop by your channel and give you even more effort. If I enjoy your channel, nonetheless, I'll leave you comments and thumbs up and such. But if I don't follow it much, I just support you out of the deal, then I'll leave you a comment and some feedback on your videos and keep supporting you and give you a thumbs up. So it's all a matter of exchanging effort, paying it back, and paying it forward. So you give us your support, you've got mine on the same level, or more, but not less. So that's how it works. All right, I hope I explained that clearly enough. Let's go to number 3 there on the boards. The Kidawa Show improvements. Yes, Kidawa has a lot of improvements and updates and changes in store for it. And remember the Kidawa Show is a community effort. We have no networks, we have no managers, we have no corporations linked to us, at least not yet. So it's all just me managing this show, and it's a one-man show. That's what I'm saying. It's a one-man party here. Well, you know what I mean. And so it really is a community effort. That's why I ask for feedback. And when you provide feedback, you can provide it below in the discussions section on the official channel page, or I urge you to join our Kidawa page on Facebook. Okay? So please, if you want any more update information or providing us information on how we can make the show better for you, that's how we connect. This is community managed. So everything from setup to me, myself, and my attitude on the show. Okay, I'm always looking for your feedback, because who else is going to give me it, right? The original goal of the Kidawa Show was to give all those smaller channels, and I'm saying smaller as in smaller than TV-produced channels and programs, because 100,000 people, I believe, is a lot of people. And a lot of these channels have thousands of viewers and subscribers and followers, yet you will never see them on TV. They'll never get that chance. So one of the main purposes why I created this show was to give those channels, those talented channels and entertainers and educators and so on and so forth, a chance to be showcased and have their followers see maybe an interview and some side of that person they follow that they don't normally see on the channel. So that's sort of the purpose, and helping them out and the smaller channels as well. So that's the key goal behind it, as well as some other more personal goals that I will mention later in this episode in our question and answer section, which is number 5, I believe. Yeah. As far as improvements on the show, I'm always going to be working on myself, my psychology, my perceptions of getting better, improving my energy. Sometimes I have interviews on days that are not so good, and sometimes on great days. It just depends how my body is feeling psychologically in my mind. But at every show, I'm going to try my best to make it the best possible experience for you. So always feedback on that open. That's a constant improvement that's going to continue as long as the show exists. My personal goal for each episode are three things. And those goals are: 1, to entertain, to make the show overall a fun experience for you to watch. Number 2, to have something educational. Number 3, apparently I don't know how to count because we're going to go into number 4 here. So number 1, fun for you. Number 2, educational, have something educational for you, something you can learn from it. And number 3, something humorous. Okay, have humor involved. And number 4, or the star one, is to have something new and special in every episode. So that's 4 main things. Make it fun, funny, something educational, and something specific and special to that show. For example, when I had the interview with JGTV Vlogs, Jay from there, we sang a song together. Or even Ibaraki Ben, when we had our British pronunciation moment. Such things such as that, and I do want to elaborate on that part of the show and make them even more specific to each person that I interview. So those are 4 key points I want to be sure to leave you with. Okay, now another improvement that I'm going to be working on is my interview style and way. As Kidawa was developing as a show, I sort of wanted to give the guests an opportunity to sell themselves, to present themselves the best they can, and sort of take control of this show. But from looking at over reviews and my own research on other professionally done such shows as this on TV, I find it more effective, not only for myself and the show, but for the viewers to enjoy the guests, for me to have a better handle on the show and the questions, and keeping the questions maybe not so long-winded, shortening the questions so we can cover more topics faster. That way the audience stays in tune, they stay connected with the guest and it appears more as a conversation. So definitely something I'll be shooting for and improving on. Okay, now a big one. Some of you might have seen the changes on the banner for this channel, and I did mention that on my page. If you look at the bottom of the banner for the Kidawa Show, for this channel, you see little frames are starting to appear. Now, this is really exciting for me because at the end of every season, at the end of this season, in 12 more episodes or something like that, we're going to vote, the people will vote, for their favorite guest on the show. And I will give, at the end of that season, I'll do another updated episode such as this, and I'll be mentioning who the winners are, the top 3, and the top 1 for the most voted. Their logo will be appearing on that banner in the frame. One by one, those frames will be filled up by every season's top voted guests. So that's really exciting. It's like the wall of fame of our guests. So very excited about that. And also in that episode, I will be choosing my top 3. I want to do that because the top 3 main ones will be selected by voting. But I want to choose my personal top 3 because I can give opinions about those. The other ones, that's just majority vote. So I will be choosing the top 3 that I believe have the most potential to moving up and developing in the future, the top 3 channels that I've interviewed, and which ones I support the most, which ones I enjoy the most personally. So it's just going to be a total personal opinion, top 3. Those will not go on the wall of fame, as I call it. Only the top voted one. And then the top 3 of that will also be mentioned here. So really excited about that, in support of the channels that we talk with in a long scape of the show. So those will be on the channel, on that board forever. I was trying to, when I was creating that idea, I was wondering where I could place the channels that win their logos or their self-portrait, whatever they want to appear on this show, whether on the background here somewhere, which would be sort of hard to see, and you can't fit enough unless we keep zooming it out and you see the fakes, and you see the studio. I've been using that joke too much. So I was thinking to have them presented somewhere on the wall in the back, but I figured that won't be visible enough, so just put them on the channel banner. And even though the channel banner design might be changing throughout the years, the winners or the top guests will continue to be there forever. I shall remind you to join, to like, because like means you follow, so you get updates from our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/The Kidawa Show. Please follow that page, because over there is the most updated news you can get, questions, and surveys. I put up surveys there often to get some answers and feedback for the show, and that's where the voting will take place. So at the end of the season, please go to that Facebook page. I'll keep reminding you to make your votes, okay? So we still have some episodes to go, but start thinking about who your favorite interviewee has been. More changes that will be taken on the actual show will also be some effects, some special effects, and I want those to be included in certain activities with the guests, and which will take ridiculous amount of time to create. But also other different effects, such as for the screen and other types of stuff. So you'll be seeing small changes popping up here and there as the show progresses. All right. As you've noticed how the show goes, usually the show's setup is that for the main Kidawa Show, that I ask the guest questions concerning their channel, and then I move into a section of the interview where I focus more on their personal life, and then we go into the questions that I repeat with every guest. And there's a section of those that I call the 10 speed questions, and I've changed those a little bit throughout the course of the show so far. If you have suggestions, something you would like me to ask, please let me know. I just changed the last one, which was number 10, what makes you smile, to which superhero, superhuman power would you choose if you could choose any? So I want to keep them more diversified, more variety to those questions, to make them the best we can, and then I do want to keep them the same for a long time, at least every season keep them the same, and maybe next season change them a little bit. I don't want to change them too much, because I find that fascinating to see different guests, but their take on the same questions. So any feedback on that, always welcome. All right, we're at number 4, the 3 show stages. Exciting part. Questions have been coming up a lot about this, so let me discuss them. The Kidawa Show right now is this show here, which is usually about an hour long, actually, a little bit less than an hour, filming a bit longer. In this show, I just explained to you the questions that we have. First, we talk about the channel, then about their background, then repeated questions, and that's it in this sort of late night style show. I'm going to give interviewees a second show option, and this is also for first time interviewees, because I've noticed some interviewees are a little bit shy of long interviews like this. So the second option I'm going to provide for them is going to be a shorter show. I'm shooting for about 30 minutes, and those will be more a variety of questions. There won't be repeated questions. They will be questions specifically to that person and their channel. So they will be shorter. The setup, the stage will be different. It will be sort of more of a daytime show style talk show, a daily show. Daily show? A daytime show. Okay, so we will be creating that as a second option for interviewees. So in case you don't like these long episodes, you can enjoy the shorter ones. And those will be 30 minutes or around there. A few minutes more or less. Not 45, not an hour. All right, so that's the second one. And then a third stage setup. I can hardly call this a stage. This is for our follow-up interviews. And follow-up interviews will usually be freestyle chats. We sit down together. These are guests that people have voted. They wanted them to come back on the show. Though they're going to have a moment with me where we just have a freestyle chat. I'll have topics in case we run out of ideas, but not a serious interview. It's back and forth conversations and just having fun in a relaxed manner. You have to be relaxed. So that's going to be the third one. Now, not always follow-up episodes, because the original Kidawa Show idea, the long one, that can also reappear with the same guest in the future, but many years from now. Say if I have a younger guest that's just developing and they have 1,000 subscribers now, maybe in a year or 2 years, I would like to invite them back on the show and ask them similar questions I already have and just put them on the original, not the really real, none of this is real, the late night show to kind of give them more exposure and ask them those intricate questions and ask them those questions, those 10 questions that I asked before, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, and see what they reply and compare their answers. That'd be kind of fun to do. So that's what it looks like. So 3 show setups, all the Kidawa Show linked. They're just going to have a different theme and subtitle to them. So want to hear your comments and ideas on that. I really look forward to that, and that will be in the works here very shortly. It's already begun. All right, viewer questions and answers. Here we go. A lot of these questions, some of these questions, I have answered already. So if I have answered one of these within the first, how many minutes I've been doing this, then I'm just going to summarize it real quick and let you know if I answered it, so you can rewind back and check that out if you haven't watched that part of the show. Ready, Don?
No.
He's always ready. Okay. He's like a robot. Since it's me communicating more directly with the viewers and I'm answering questions, it's going to be freestyle editing here, not too serious editing, so whatever I mess up here from now on to the end of the show, it's going to be pretty real, unless it's ridiculously ridiculous. Okay, here we go. First, Mr. Patrick Sinclair asked, which of your interviews do you stay in contact with the most, and who has helped you out? Okay, so the interviewees that I have stayed in contact the most, I would have to say I try to stay in contact with all of them. The most I would have to say, number 1 would be Ibaraki Ben. Also, the recently interviewed Dave from the Kinsella Bunch. I chat with him quite often as well. Excuse me. See what happens with this raw editing. Another one would be, let's see, Sharp Tony's another person. I would say it's tough because I do speak with all people and update with them. I don't want it to be in any way biased, seen as biased or something, but yeah, I would say Ibaraki Ben, most likely the most. Dave from the Kinsella Bunch. Probably those 2 the most, I would say, that I talk to outside. Who has helped me out? Who has helped me out? Pretty much every interview I've done as a collaboration, we help one another out. The most, I would have to say, Ibaraki Ben, as a lot of my viewers may know. He has helped promote my channel. He has taken extra efforts and time into that, and he made a really thoughtful shout-out video. So definitely him the most. Who else? It's hard to say. It's hard to say where subscribers come from and so on. But everybody's made, pretty much everybody I've talked to, they make, either they feature us on their Facebook or some social media, or they make a video in gratitude. A bit helpful. And Patrick, you yourself have been one of the outside behind the scenes people that has been quite helpful as well. And then all our supporters and viewers, really helpful as well. I may think of somebody later, so that I haven't mentioned. Of course, professional people in their fields, such as Hiroshi Katagiri, even though he's busy, we don't chat too much. The point is that he has given this time and, you know, effort into the interview, and that creates, of course, more viewers for us, which viewers and subscribers, which in turn, as we grow with subscribers, that gives me better chances to find bigger YouTube channels to interview with. So yeah, that has been helpful as well, and that's also through friends outside of my interviewees, such as Patrick and Hyuna Kim, also known as Fantasia, and Ben, who's helped me set up things like that. So I thank those people very dearly, and they know that. Unless I don't say thank you enough, but I always have a feeling I say it too much sometimes. Okay, enough ramble-bamble there. We got Kate Lambert. Kate Lambert asks, by the way, thank you, Kate, for the support since the beginning of the show, since it started. Any plan to make a follow-up series? As I've mentioned, I do, and they're going to work either, in summary, I'll summarize this quick, either it will be the same show over for them, but maybe a longer time later, or if we do a follow-up with them soon, then it's going to be in that sort of a laid-back chat style. So yes, I'm working on that setup. I will be working on it this week and so on. So I hope you enjoy that, and I hope you enjoy the idea. Fake laughs in there? No. Ambient sound? Yes. And you'll see what I mean. What will it be? Like I said. And, should I say it? Well, it is my show, and who's going to watch this? I don't know. But if you watch this, then you deserve to know. So that show, that follow-up show I'm thinking about, is going to be set up in a cafe style, an outdoor cafe. That's my goal with that. And I do want to keep them probably 45 minutes or less, something like that. Or even 30 minutes. Yeah, since we can do many of those. What is your favorite part of the show? My favorite part of the show, well, for one, it's when it's all finished and I can look at the finished product and hear what the guest has to say about it, how they enjoy it. It's like creating an artwork and then finally, after all this effort, presenting it to someone that has some kind of connection with it and just seeing their reaction, or like creating a video game and seeing people play it, right? So that's one of my favorite parts, probably, and showing it to my wife, actually. Every episode I finish, I try to proof watch first, and I usually do that with my wife, and then I can catch any extra mistakes I made, and that's probably the most enjoyable moment. The interviews themselves, obviously, also as well. Some are, everything's different, and my behavior changes or is also different within every show. It depends how I feel and what kind of ideas I come up with and how my day was before that show, right? So the interviews can be extremely fun to do, and just creating those extra outtakes and bloopers is really fun. So I love doing the interviews. I love meeting people that are fascinating and open to talking and asking questions and talking about themselves and being comfortable with it. That's really fun for me, and then that education that I can learn from them about myself and how to better myself, and about them and about some skill or trade or hobby out there. That is those are amazing things. So I enjoy the show thoroughly from beginning to end, except for maybe the dreadful editing I have to go through. Of course, editing creates it all. It's fun, it's like art, but it is work, and, well, I don't have to say much more about that. What is your favorite... let me just repeat everything I said. Why did you start the show? Why did you start the show? As I've mentioned before, I started it to help out people, smaller channels, not the multi-million subscriber channels, because those people get on real TV. PewDiePie's been on on television before, and other YouTubers even got a chance to interview with Obama. So what about the channels that have 100,000 subscribers? That's a ton of people, and I want to give them a chance to showcase themselves and their personality as well. And yeah, and hopefully someday when this channel is much bigger, to give that support to small channels that show either great talent or effort, and just give them that boost and support with, our viewership. So that's one of the reasons. And it's original. The goal of this show is to be the late night talk show of YouTube. There are many late night talk shows in America on TV and all over the world on channels, but for YouTube, this seems to be the first and only one. And I want that to stay as so, even though later people might copy this, will always be the original one. I've done gameplay videos, art videos, and everything's out there already, and there's many gameplay videos, I believe, and channels that are funnier than me. They're more exciting and better at games and all that than me. So I figured, if I can find something original, let's go with it. And I did, at least for YouTube, and I love it. It's excellent. So I love what I do with these people, meeting people and all that. It's the best education I think you can get. Without paying for school or tutoring, the best education is talking to people that are the best in something or developed in something, and learn from them and use that to reflect on yourself. So, that's a pretty deep answer, and I can keep going about that, but let's keep moving. So, thank you, Kate, for those questions. Erica asked, thank you, Erica, and thank you for the support. Who would be your perfect interviewee? The awesome thing about this show is that I get to interview, and I do, because I've already had some other people agree. I get to interview the people I really kind of look up to and enjoy what they do, whether they're educators or performers, entertainers. That's the awesome thing about this show. Because a lot of the people I look up to are not big Hollywood stars and things like that. Even in music, I listen to a variety of music, but I listen to a lot of not mainstream bands and underground bands. And they still have thousands of followers and fans, but this show gives me the opportunity to talk to these people that I truly, really respect, and I'd love to meet and see their perspectives from, answering my questions. So the perfect interviewee, I would say one is Pending, and that's a perfect interviewee. I would say it's one of my favorite bands. I won't say it. I don't want to disclose any possible future shows just yet. But yeah, it's a band member. It's a band from Germany, and they do kind of underground industrial music, but they've got a lot of variety to their music, and they have looked into it. And another bigger band that's even bigger throughout the world, they've looked into it, and they're contemplating when to do this with me. Those are perfect interviewees, and in general, the perfect interviewee for me is someone that is fun, easygoing, open, very open. Because in this show, it's hard to make this show funny and fun like late night TV, because those are live. The person's actually sitting next to them. When I'm doing something through Skype and I try to make a joke, or I pretend that I'm talking to the audience or something, that person on Skype is not going to understand anything I'm doing, and I'm just going to look weird from their position, and I don't want to offend them. And to make it work, I would have to rehearse it with them. And usually people don't have that much time, and I don't want to make things fake anyway. So it's hard to make this show look like what it is and make it as fun. So when you have a guest that helps you with that, oh, that is the best. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter how many subscribers they have. That is a perfect guest for me. And also other skills, guests that practice skills that I really cherish, that I really respect, such as Hiroshi doing special effects for movies. So personal things like that, artists, bands that I follow, those are perfect. Actors, perfect interviewees for me. And then people that are just, that I meet and I get to know, and they're just awesome. And there's quite a few I've met through doing this that I wouldn't have met otherwise. Okay, Erica, sorry for the long answer. Continuing, who do you want to interview again? Who do I want to interview again? Let's see. Well, number one, anybody that the viewers enjoyed and gave good feedback about, obviously. And the people personally, people that I chat with and had a good time with and follow up. So anybody that does that with me, they continue to watch the show, I'd like to interview them again. People that are making changes in their life and keep developing. If I have to hit out some names, I don't want to do that because I don't want to let anybody feel like they're not included or in my thoughts. Ben, for example, Ibaraki Ben has had good feedback. I do chat with him. I would like to see him back on the show. Games Be Silly, he was a fun person to talk to. Even Cancela Bunch recently. Pretty much every interview, it's hard for me to say, and so that's why I leave it to the followers, and I don't want to call it the ratings, but I can't re-interview everybody all the time, so I have to have help in deciding who, because I don't want to be like a friend-to-friend basis and just re-interview people that I'm really just friends with. I don't consider that's fair for everybody, so that's up to the viewers. But personally, anybody I've had that good chemistry on and off the show with, and they put in that effort to keep a relationship with me, that's who I want to see back on the show. Okay, Erica, number 3. Thank you for numbering your questions, by the way, Erica. It's very helpful, especially when I see all this mess on my pages from my own artistic hand. Where do you want the show to go in the future? Where do you want the show to go in the future? The future, I want to be the top YouTube. I want this to be the top YouTube late night show. The top YouTube talk show. The top YouTube interview show. To be able to interview any YouTuber out there, any actor and band member, any big entertainers and professional. Let's say, top world surgeons or something. I'd love to chat with people like that. Whoever is the best in their skill, in their profession, and they have something to share, because everybody has something to share, and everybody has something funny to share. Not just educational about what they do, but something funny about that personality. That's the whole fun with playing with minds and psychology. Okay, this got weird, but yeah, so to be the top on YouTube for this type of show. So thank you, Erica. Next, Yumiko Okubo. Thank you for your support also. Your question is, what's next for the show? Next for the show is, well, the next episode is going to start to be in production. That was terrible. The next episode will start to be produced soon. So we'll continue that until the 26th episode. And then we're going to do another update, quicker than this, talking about the top 3 chosen guests of that season and put them on that wall on our banner, that wall of fame, that hall of fame, hall of fame, both. Pretty much everything I said earlier in the interview. So if you want an in-depth answer, watch this, not this interview, this whole update. Have you ever bought subscribers or views? Have I ever bought subscribers? Oh, yes, she's giving me a dose of my own medicine. Those are some questions I dropped, by the way, to make the show kind of move faster, since not everybody is a YouTuber and they just watch videos. Have I bought subscribers? Yes, I have. That's why I asked that question. When I first started the channel, I actually bought 200 subscribers. And they said they were real. They said, there wouldn't be issues on YouTube with that, and that's fine. But they're not quality subscribers. They're people that subscribe to you from another channel to get support to theirs. It's a mix of things like that. So yes, I have, and that's the first and the last batch I ever bought of subscribers, because then they started falling off. Every week you could see 2 or 3 get off the list. So they're fake subscribers. They make having 200 subscribers doesn't do anything anyway for the channel to produce reputation. So it's just a waste of money and time. They don't actually comment or like or do anything useful for the channel. So, lesson learned. Okay, third question from Yumiko. What country do you get the most views from? I forgot to double check on that, but exactly right now, there's just a bit more from Vietnam. And number 2, right behind, and I believe this will overcome Vietnam soon, is the US, the United States. Number 3, I believe, is the UK, United Kingdom. And then we have smaller and smaller numbers coming from Japan, even Poland, so on and so forth. So the top are US, Vietnam, UK. Ibaraki Ben, thank you again, sir. If I start saying thank you too much, please let me know, because I tend to have that habit. Thank you for... Okay, see, here's what Ibaraki Ben asked, and that is, how long does it take to edit a 1-hour episode? A 1-hour episode can take, sometimes they're even, 1-hour episode meaning that the actual filming time is probably an hour and 10 minutes, hour 15, 10 hours. 10 hours of straight work, so probably not in one day. It's going to take maybe 3 days whenever I get the time to edit. So 10-hour total. On average, I would say maybe 9 hours, 8-9 hours to edit an episode that long. And if you guys don't realize what editing takes in this show, that means cutting out the background of me, the guests, bettering their quality by color, contrast, and sharpness, and HDR effects if that's necessary. And then taking all of that quality and then cutting us out and putting us on the stage, and then music. Every episode has a different theme. It's like every guest has their own theme song on the show, if you haven't noticed too. Editing, then you have to go through the whole thing. And unlike gameplay videos that are pretty simple to edit, although time-consuming, here I have to listen to every word I say, the guest says, and make sure that they match up. I have to constantly move their speaking and my speaking to different areas. It's not all set up that when I ask a question, they answer. Sometimes I have to cut here and move that around constantly throughout the entire editing, if you know what I'm talking about. And then the fake laughter, that's why I have to listen to every word spoken to cut out mistakes, to try to cut out ums, even though I'm saying a lot here, and things like that on both ends, and then when to add in laughs and claps and all that stuff. So it's not just physical editing the entire time in case my arm gets cut off or something, but sound editing. And what we're saying has so much attention, and that's why it takes so long to edit. And then placing in videos and later special effects. So yeah, it takes a long time. There's not just a preset setup I have in my editing software that I push the button and everything, I have a new interview and guest, and everything goes into place. I can only do so much to have it already kind of preset, but then that's very little bit that in the editing process. Everything else is done from pretty much raw, almost. So yeah, average 9 hours probably, I think. And I'm doing them pretty fast now, so it's not that I'm saying hardcore, pretty quick editing. I've been doing it for a little while now, so Any plans to make any changes, improvements on or add anything new? All right, so that's what this whole episode is pretty much about. So a lot of stuff. 3 different stages of the show, special effects in the show, always improving myself as the host, making myself more interesting, and making my questions and the way I manage the show and the moments with the guests. That's another thing that's always going to be improving, I hope, and changing, and special effects in the show, such as maybe something that displays photos appears instead of just a photo appearing on the screen, and the videos, and even games I want to do with guests. But since I'm already editing 9 hours for these, that's going to have to come in with other changes if it's going to work. So yeah, check out the rest of the show for your answer. This show. How many of the interviewees have you stayed in regular contact with so far? Okay, and I kind of answered that for the people that most. Pretty much all of them. Some a little bit more than others, but me, since I told you, after an hour spent with somebody of this tiring, these tiring shows at times, because some people stay up very late to do these things with me, I consider them my friends. And because of that, I check up on pretty much everybody I've interviewed every once in a while. If they don't contact me, I always let them know after the show that they can openly contact me anytime. They are my number one people. I will always support the people that have been on my show and gave me that time. So yes, everybody. I know what Games Be Silly's doing, how his school schedule was looking, and how Kiwi Bird's doing with her projects, and as I said, Ibaraki Ben, how he's doing and growing with his channel. JGTV Vlogs, I always give him support, and yeah, Sharp Tony. So everybody, if I didn't mention your name, send me a message because I talk to everybody. So that's one of my key points. It's so time consuming too, and especially the bigger the show gets. So maybe later I won't be sending out so many messages to other people, but I'll definitely let them know they can contact me anytime, just because the list's going to grow, and in the end I'm just going to end up talking to people all day instead of getting any work done. But until then, as much as energy as I have and time and effort, I will stay connected to my people, to my peeps, and talk to them as much as I possibly can, and give them my support and offer my energy and help for their projects. Even people like, sorry to be too long, Hiroshi Katagiri, he's a busy guy. He's not much for YouTube. He has his profession that he does. But every once in a while, I'll comment there, and he'll respond and message, and yeah, that's how it works. You never know when you'll collaborate together again, or what friendship will develop further. That's it. Those are the questions. Thanks, you guys, for the questions. Thank you very much. I want to thank everybody for the support to the Kidawa Show, especially if you've been there since the beginning of the formation of this show, right on Facebook till now. I thank everybody dearly. Please be sure to check out and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Kidawa Show. That's where you'll get the latest of the latest, and you'll have the ability to vote for your favorite guests. Also, Twitter. Twitter is where you can communicate with me as well, and I put up my updates there as well. And that's twitter.com/The Kidawa Show. The same. A little bit, I want to leave this is the first, I don't know what I just said, but I want to leave every update episode like this with questions or thoughts for you about our channel and what feedback you can provide me with. And the question today is, I've done gameplay videos in the past and my art videos. Should I keep them? Should I not? Because more playlists are going to be probably added concerning the Kidawa Show, because it's developing so big, and the subject matter here, there will have to be different playlists within the Kidawa Show itself. So should I keep those other projects even on the channel, or maybe quietly somewhere on the channel in one playlist? Should I upload any more? Personally, I'm thinking gameplay videos like I said, there's so many other better ones. Maybe I'll stop uploading them. Art ones, if I keep doing sculptures, which I haven't had the time, the digital sculpts, since they're so subtle, I'm thinking to keep those going. They don't seem like something that would really annoy a certain group of people. So anyway, food for thought about the Kidawa Show, if you can help me out with that. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I just have to say now, have a great day or night, wherever you are. And Don, I'm sorry for that pre-recorded joke about you. Would you do a digital handshake with me? Just a last digital handshake? No?
I hate you, Kidawa.
Okay. Well, goodbye, everybody.
Subscribe and comment down below, and maybe you can be on our next show. Be sure to check out Arthur Kidawa's gameplays, monsters, and other work.
For this program as well, so anytime you want to be featured, just let me know. So if there's a great YouTuber that you want to see interviewed, and if you know some questions you want to ask them, let us know who it is and what questions you have. And again, if you're a YouTuber and you want some more viewers and more subscribers and more fans to meet you and find out about you, this is a great chance for you. It's a great opportunity. How blah blah blah. Alright, here we go. Not step. Yes, these are the 5 steps to creating your own show. Now, the 5th step. I said step again. Alright, here's the 5th item on our menu of... Okay, I give up. A little bit, I want to leave this is the first... I don't know what I just said.